Welcome to episode 1 of Stitch and Bitch. Today, we're going to be doing some embroidery. Catherine?
So this is like what you guys voted for, I guess.
And the poll.
And basically I'll just like explain some different stitches. A lot of these can be used to do like designs on a t-shirt or on like a pair of jeans if you just want to like spruce something up, or even on like a tote bag. That could be kind of cute.
So this here, Catherine made me for my birthday, and I cried a little bit, but that's it. So it's a stitch sampler. I've got it in the hoop, and it like shows how to do all the different stitches. So we thought we'd go through and show how to do, and then we'll begin.
So basically what you kind of need is well, you need a needle to begin with. Anything's kind of fine, preferably something like longish. And then you'll need embroidery thread, which is very different to sewing thread because it's a lot. It's a lot thicker.
It's a lot thicker.
This is kind of what it looks like. You can kind of get heaps of colours. They usually come in these long, like, they look like this. You buy them from like Spotlight.
They're very cheap. And
you can get really pretty colours. And you'll need that because otherwise you won't see it if you just use normal sewing thread. And then it's helpful if you have an embroidery hoop. There's heaps of different types of these. Eliza's got one here that has like a little screw. You just like put the fabric through it and then like clip the two bits together. And then it like holds it like taut. So then when you like are sewing, you don't have to like worry about the fabric move.
So here I have, I've been informed that you want a piece of thread that's like between your finger and elbow, and then I've just threaded it through the needle, and then I'm going to tie a knot on one end and then like use it to that end. So we're back. I have just done the running boy.
You go like one in, and then you just go a little bit further away and put it down, and then under and pull that through. And then you just come up next to it a little bit away. You can kind of just like do a couple at once by like putting your needle in and then up and then down again and then up and then like pulling it through, and just like flip it over every now and then to check, because sometimes your thread can get caught. What I'm doing here is I'm just holding my finger underneath and pressing up against it, so that when the needle comes down through the fabric, I'm kind of directing it with this finger up where it needs to be and then pressing it up.
Next stitch is called the double cross.
Yeah, basically it's just like a collection of stitches that kind of goes in a spiral, makes a cute little flower pattern. So to do this one, you basically just like pick a central, like have like this as like your starting point, which is in the center, and then just keep kind of coming back into that central bit and then kind of spiral out from that, and it ends up, if you try and keep them like a similar distance, you'll end up with this like flower kind of thing, which is really cute. So the next one we're going to do is satin stitch, and this is kind of how you get like a full coverage of like any sort of shape. So the easiest way to do it is actually to like mark your fabric. So I'm using this navy, so I'm just going to mark it with a white pen. So I've done a little heart and a little circle here. You're basically just colouring in with the thread. So you kind of just pick a place to start, and then you just go along the side of it like that. And then you just come up right next to it, and really right next to it, because otherwise you'll get gaps. And then go a little bit further because I'm on the diagonal here. And if you keep all your stitches going the same direction, it looks a lot neater.
The next one we're going to do is called a chain stitch. So you can see. there are my boys. My little chain boy. You start by going up, and then you go down halfway in the same hole. But you don't pull it all the way through because then it will just come loose. But so then you've got this sweet little loop. Then you come up to the next stitch up here, and then whack that loop around your needle, and then pull it through. So then it creates like a little loopity-doop. And then you do the same thing. So within that same loop, you go back down, pull it through a little bit, come up on the next boy, whack him round, and yoink him. Whoops.
So the next one we're going to do is blanket stitch. And this one is like a cute border stitch you can do. So basically you just want to start coming up from the bottom. I've just done that there. And then what you want to do is you want to, with one of your hands, grab the stitch, the thread, sorry, sideways, and then put your needle in, not in line with that, but a little bit above it. And then go down and then come up in line, or as in line as you can make it, with where you originally put the thread coming out. And you want to make sure that it comes out before this thread, so the thread's like trapped under it there. And then you just want to pull that through, and then you get like a little L shape. Now these are pretty loose stitches, but that's just kind of how the stitch is, so that's all right. So then you do it again. So you just grab this thread with your finger and then put your needle in line with where that other top one is, and then back up in line with that one, grabbing the thread over the top again, and then you pull it through and it creates that.
Now we're going to do couched. So I've just started by, it's a bit hard to see, but I've just run a piece of thread, just starting from the bottom, and then just go all the way up to the top and then in, and then tie that off. And then you get a different colour and do little boys of him over the top of your first colour. And then go up, over the top, and try and keep in as close to the other thread as you can. And then just down, nice and close to the thread, and then nice and hugged in, boink him back through.
Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a French knot or a bouillon knot. Now this is just like, gives you a little tie, it's like a little circle. It can be really cute to like put in the middle of like flowers. You come up from the bottom, and then, so you like hold your thread out with one hand, and then with your needle, you like wind it around this. I'd say like 3 or 4 times. Like that. And then you're just gonna go, don't let them slip off, back where you came from, but like a tiny bit. Because if you go back where you came from, you're gonna lose the entire stitch, but you just wanna go like a millimeter or so. And it'll look really messy, but just push it down and pull it through. So that's it. So it's like just a little knot. Now the back stitch is like the running stitch, except you end up with like a solid line as opposed to the like dotted line. So what you do is you start from wherever you are, and then you go backwards like 1 stitch length, and then you want to go under and come up like a stitch length past that. So your thread sticking out from the bottom is going to be in the middle, and you will have come up and around here, and that's the end of the needle, and then come back up a stitch in front. And then when you pull that forward, that'll just make 1 stitch. And then you repeat that, and when you put this one in, you now go down into exactly where that other one came out of. And then you go forward again past where you came out of that. And then you end up with like a straight line. So as opposed to the running stitch, which is here, the straight line is like a lot more dense. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is called a lazy daisy, and it's basically just a chain stitch round and round in circles. So you start coming up from the bottom, And then you can grab the thread with one of your fingers and make like a little loop. And then you're going to go down exactly pretty much where you came from. And then you're going to come up as far away as you want the petal to be. So I'm going to go up like that far. So I've just gone down and come up. And I'm making sure that I'm coming up in the loop of the stitch. And you pull it through so that it grabs it. And that's like a petal. And then what you do is you go down just on the other side, just to hold that little bit in place. And then you go back and you come up next to where you just did that. And then you're going to go round in a circle. And you're going to make the next petal. So try and make it like a similar distance. Hold it out and then go back down on the other side of the petal to hold it in place. And you can really make these have as many petals as you want.
Next, on this thrilling journey, we have the herringbone. So it's going to end up looking like this green boy here. So basically the idea is that it's easy because I've got these lines, but basically you go across, and then you come up next to where you've just gone through, and then you go diagonally up again. And a good way to do it, instead of going right through like what I'm doing right now, is to go across and come out next to it straight away, like that, and then pulling that through, and then that's already kind of set to go. And you need to make sure that the thread is on the opposite side to what direction you've just gone in. And then beep, boop.
It's now been done by the beautiful Eliza.
Yeah.
And so you just like flip her over, you take the needle off. This is like a good amount to have. You could probably have less than this as well left, but you don't want like a tiny bit left over because otherwise you're not going to be able to tie it. So you want to just get in there and do like a normal knot. And then kind of hold it as close to the bottom as you can and like pinch it so that the knot can't slide up. And you want to get your scissors and just kind of chop it like that much potentially. And that's fine to hang out, just so that it can't really come out.
So basically I've finished now the stitch sampler, just to show you what kind of thing you can do. So I'm going to finish stitching in all of the decorations around the stitches. But you can see here I've now practiced all of, this is one we've done.
Yes, this is one
example
that we've done, just to show you the kind of creativity you can kind of explore.
Yeah, so we were thinking this would be a nice little wall piece for your pinboard.
You can really give them a bit of an iron afterwards.
Yeah, just to make them crisp.
Just maybe up here. Hang things up on your wall that you've done. They're really nice decorative pieces.
Thanks for watching. First video.
We hope you have fun. Do some stitches.
Let us know your creative projects, anything you'd like to see from us.
Yeah, show us what you've done if you do anything in the Stitch and Bitch Facebook page.
Yep. See you next time.
See you.